All right. Welcome back, guys. Feels like I was sitting down 2 days ago and we had the Antonio Pierce little video. Looks like a new era for the Raiders. Just when you thought things were kind of settling down, they go ahead and they fire Tom Telesco yesterday afternoon. My whole philosophy on it right here, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Obviously the Raiders wanted to go full regime change, full clear house. And I wanted to kind of take a second to look at Tom Telesco's moves as a GM and his one and only season as a Raider. So to start first, if I can get this thing out of my face, thank you. All right, his draft class, listen, the Raiders has historically not I want to subscribe, bro. Get out of here. Maybe win some games and then I'll subscribe. All right. The Raiders historically have not been a good, great team drafting wise, right? You got guys like Tyree Wilson, kind of shaky. Leatherwood, Damon Arnett. You could always go back to the Jamarcus Russell, right? And I think that's been something, we've been not good, quite frankly, for 20 plus years. Okay. And I think a big reason for that is our drafting. You have to, this is how you acquire players. This is how you build a team is you draft. You draft and you get good players in the first round, you get solid starters in the second, third rounds, and you get quality depth guys in the third, to fourth to seventh round, right? Maybe those guys hit. Maybe you get a Max Crosby. Maybe you get a Hunter Renfro. Shout out Hunter Renfro. Shout out Nahai. Uh, yeah, what's up with that? The Raiders seem to really, in those John Gruden, Mike Mayock years, they really seem to hit in that fourth round, and then first round, just nothing. Anyways, I'm getting off topic, right? So Tom Telesco's draft, he's got Brock Bowers, Jackson Powers Johnson, DJ Glaze, and I don't know if you guys saw, but all three of those guys made the all rookie teams. Brock Bowers first team, Jackson Power Johnson, DJ Glaze second team, and I don't think DJ Glaze even started. He was kind of on and off all year, but I expect him to start next year. I think he's a very solid tackle, a lot of stuff to work on, but a guy we could build on. And Jackson Power Johnson. My kind of favorite thing about him is how you can move him guard, center, wherever on that offensive line, and he is just as impactful. I think he's more impactful as a center. I really like him right there in the middle. Um, but then you still got guys like Richardson, who I think was really getting picked on those last couple weeks. But I mean, he's a rookie. He's a fourth rounder. I'm not expecting him to be a shutdown corner first year. He's got to have some stuff, he's got some stuff to work on. He's a little bit undersized. He's not the, longest corner. So I'm not mad at that. Tommy Eichenberg, we haven't really got to see anything out of him. Trey Taylor, MJ Devonshire, both of those guys, we haven't really said anything out of him. Dylan Lobby, I thought he was a very good special teams player. He had a couple of really big plays. I don't think he's ready to take on a big load offensively as far as running goes. Another thing with that too, though, is I think that he had a really bad he just had bad luck. His second, third play offensively is a run, a little run outside, runs by TJ Watt. TJ Watt just punches the ball out. Hey, that's TJ Watt. That's not Arden Key punching the ball. That's TJ Watt. Okay. Can't I cut you a little slack. I think he has value on this team. I like him. I think he's a hard-nosed guy. And overall, like you hit on the first three rounds of the draft, which is what you're supposed to do. I cannot be mad at you. You had three solid starters. And then as far as free agency goes, I think a lot of people get mad because maybe he didn't make a big flat splash in free agency, which I would argue is Christian Wilkins. I think Christian Wilkins, my biggest complaint about the Raiders over the past 10 years of being a Raiders fan is consistently almost every offseason since the dawn of my Raider fandom, I've been like, man, we need to get a solid, just lockdown defensive tackle. And we just haven't. We had, Danico Autry for those couple, first couple of years. And I thought he was good. I really liked him. I thought we could build on him. Gone. We got PJ Hall in the second round in 2018 from Sam Houston's shout out Bearcats, eat 'em up cats. He was gone. He couldn't stay. I think the big thing about him was he couldn't stay underweight. And he just wasn't he wasn't a second round talent, to be honest. But Christian Wilkins, uh, I will say we paid him a little bit over, but I'm not even mad about it. I'm not even I this is I think we are, it was a position of need. Um we locked him down for 4 years. I I love Christian Wilkins. I thought he was having a great season before he got hurt. Other guy, Garner Minshew. I see a lot of people kind of arguing, oh, well, Tom Telesco signed Garner Minshew for $25 million when we could have gone, elsewhere with that. Um, Listen, this is gonna be a really unpopular opinion, especially after this year. But Garner Minshew is not a bad quarterback in the NFL. Sue me. Sue me. Garner Minshew is not a bad quarterback in the NFL. Garner Minshew is not a bad quarterback in the NFL. Luke Getzky is a terrible offensive coordinator. We had no weapons on offense. Okay. Aiden O'Connell might be a better starting quarterback. I would prefer Aiden O'Connell, but you saw what Gardner Minshew did last year. You saw with the success he had. He didn't go to the playoffs, no, but they were a competent team. Okay. He knew what he was doing. He has well, he did lead the Jags to one win that one season. But look, he is a good quarterback in the NFL, okay? But he is not a great quarterback in the NFL. The same thing with Derek Carr, okay? Derek Carr is better, right? But the same thing with Derek Carr, where he is not the answer, but he is not the problem. You're going to have to surround this guy with a great offensive line, good receivers, a good run game, okay? What did Gardner Minshew had? He had Devontae Adams, who was checked out of the season, okay, after week 2. Okay. He was checked out. He didn't want to be here. Okay. He had Jacoby Myers. Shout out Jacoby Myers. He had Brock Bowers. Okay. And who was his running back? Zamir White, Alexander Madison, running a run scheme that was not fit for them. Okay, so sue me. I don't think the Garner Minshew signing was a bad signing. I think that same way with Zamir White. Okay, I'm contradicting myself right here, but I thought he could have been a good running back in this league. Our offensive coordinator and I mean the team as a whole did not set them up for success. Okay, I'm going on. Okay, Alexander Madison, not a bad signing. Okay, great depth. He was going to be the backup for Zamir White. He had to be a starter. He had never been a starter in his career. He's not made to be a starter. Okay. My big thing with Alexander Madison is I feel like a lot of times whenever he runs, he has no patience. And I know he's a big physical back. He's very tall. But he he just he starts going forward, sees the hole, and just boom, tries to get through that hole. And then it gets a solid 2, 3, 4 yards every time. But I feel like if there was a little bit more patience there, and maybe I'm reading it wrong. Maybe if there was a little bit more patience there, there would be a chance for, a cut up field and a couple more yards. I don't know. Otherwise, decent signing. Adam Butler, great. Love it. Love it. Andre James, love it. Yeah, keep him. Cody Whitehair, depth offensive lineman. He had to start. He should not be starting. Sorry. John Jenkins, great. Harrison Bryant, great. All of these guys, Amir Abdullah, great. Well, I said great. They're not great signings. These are not Pro Bowlers. These are depth pieces. These are guys. We're not giving however many $1 million to Tyrell Williams. We're not giving however many $1 million we did to what's his name? The guy from Lamarcus Joyner, and playing him at what nickel cornerback. We're not doing that. We're re-signing these guys. We're building on the continuity of this defense that was so great last year. And I appreciate that. I really like it. One thing that a lot of people so I'm seeing a lot of people kind of talk about Tom Telesco is okay, well, he didn't get a quarterback. His job was to get a quarterback. He did not get a quarterback. The quarterback he got was Garner Minshew. Okay. I think Tom Telesco did not panic One, he doesn't like to trade up in the draft. Okay, that's fine. I can respect that. You want to go best player available. I don't know if I would have. I'm very happy with Brock Bowers. I am very happy with Brock Bowers. And then another thing is, I don't think what are we going to trade up to? Are we going to trade up to three? Are we going to trade up to two for Jaden McDaniels? Because that's where we wanted to go. That's where Antonio Pierce wanted to go. I think that's where the Raiders fan base, Raiders organization as a whole wanted to go. Washington was not trading that pick. Okay, we've got to get it through our mind. Washington was not trading that pick. They saw their franchise quarterback right there. They got him. They hit. He's offensive rookie of the year. I know Brock Bowers is having a better season, had a better season, right? It's a quarterback lead. Okay. Um, Washington was not trading that pick. Okay. So that's not Tom Telesco. I would have rather him had selected Brock Bowers than sat on the phone with Washington for an hour being like, oh, well, let me give you 5 first-round picks for that number 2 pick. And then guess what? And then Jaden McDaniels comes here. Okay. This team is pretty dysfunctional, right? We run the risk of ruining his development. There's no telling that Jaden Daniels has the same season as he had in Washington here because we did not have Cliff Kingsbury. Now you could say, well, maybe Cliff Kingsbury would come here if we had Jaden McDaniels, blah, blah, blah. Okay, long story short, I think I am a Tom Telesco defender. The other thing people get mad at him about is letting Devontae Adams go. Devontae Adams, Devontae Adams wanted a quarterback. He was not happy with Aiden O'Connell. He wasn't happy with Garner Minshew. Well, actually, I think he was pretty happy with Aiden O'Connell. I think he was. I compared to Jimmy Garoppolo and Garner Minshew, I think he was happier with Aiden O'Connell. I think he just was not happy at this organization because it was clear we weren't winning. Okay, and so what do you do when a player is not happy? You trade him the right way. We got a third-round pick for it. The Jets went what 5-12. We went 4-13. Sounds like a fleece to me. Hey, hey, Tom Telesco cooked. That's all I'm going to say. Would I have preferred to keep Devontae Adams? Yes. He would have just rotted away on this team, though, is my point. I would rather have gotten a third round pick out of it. Okay, we move on. We try to get something else. The other thing is Josh Jacobs, too. This is the thing is I don't believe so. Josh Jacobs signed his contract for a little bit over what we were going to sign him. He did not. I think this is the thing is Josh Jacobs wanted to be a Raider. He also wanted to be paid. Okay. And those are the two things you have to consider is he wanted to be a Raider and he also wanted to be paid. If he wasn't going to be paid, okay, he wasn't going to be a Raider. Okay. So if he was going to be a Raider, he was going to have to get paid. Okay. Um, he went to Green Bay. They are winners. They are winning. They are in the playoffs. They are a good team. And he didn't get paid, but at least he has said in the past, I am fine with not getting this huge contract, as long as it leads to success, right? As long as we can re-sign other players, as long as we can, address the quarterback, as long as we can take steps towards winning, because then it feels like, okay, at least my pay is going to, I'm almost paying for us to win. Okay, I'm willing to take a discount if we're winning, and the Raiders did not win. And would Josh Jacobs have made this team better? Yes. But I think that fundamentally the offense was flawed from the beginning. That like I don't think you could have succeeded with that offense. I don't think you could have succeeded. I think Josh Jacobs could have. He's a great running back. He's one of my favorite running back. No, he is my favorite running back of all time. And I think he would have had a good season. He would not have had a great season. He would not have had the season that he had. With Packers. Anyways, moving on. I'm only been through one tweet. We got like 4 or 5 more. Okay. Right here, my little thoughts with the Tom Telesco signing. The Raiders, the way I thought they were going to go about the head coach search was it was going to be a collaboration between Mark Davis, Tom Brady, Tom Telesco. Okay. You take out Tom Telesco. Okay. And I think I know Mark Davis will be involved in the process, obviously, but I do not think I believe that he understands how kind of out of touch with the football side of it that he is. And I think Mark Davis is a very smart man. He understands that that is not his strong suit. His strong suit is saying, hey, other, third party, hey, Tom Brady, I'm going to pay you. You're going to help me win. Okay. And we're all going to be happy. Okay. I don't know how to build a football team. You know what it takes to be great at football. You help me. You help me hire this head coach. You help me to hire a great football mind. So my whole point with this being was I thought it was going to be this little trio, kind of assigning his head coach more so Tom Telesco, Tom Brady, right? Tom Telesco is out of the picture. Now it's basically just Tom Brady. Okay. Mark Davis will be there. Mark Davis will participate in the interviews. He will participate in the kind of head coach search, but I believe it is almost solely on Tom Brady to kind of say, "Hey, Mark, I like this guy. Hey, Mark, don't hire this guy. Hey, Mark, um, you know, let's go get a Ben Johnson." Um, let's see. So, once again, people were just saying, AP was blocked for trading for Jaden McDaniels. Why does Jaden Daniels? I always say McDaniels, okay? I don't know why. I love Jaden Daniels. I hate Josh McDaniels, okay? Why does my mind conflate the two? I don't know why. Anyways, why does Tom Telesco still have his job? I don't think Tom Telesco was blocked or AP was blocked from trading McDaniels. Was Tom Telesco maybe unsure of trading up that, the giving up that much draft capital? I know he loves to go best player available. I know he loves to let the draft fall to him, right? So maybe he was not comfortable, but I don't even think trading up was an option in this case. Maybe we could have traded up to 8 or so whenever the Falcons were picking and gotten up Michael Penix Jr. And in hindsight, that looks like a better option than rolling with Garner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell as our quarterbacks. But hindsight's 2020. You know, and this is kind of just like I just say this one right here because the firing of Tom Telesco, I thought we were going to continue with Tom Telesco. And I was happy with that. And we fired him. I love Tom Telesco. I thought he did a good job, but it's also not the worst thing because it is a full franchise reset. Um, First time since John Gruden in 2018. This is going to be a whole new team. This was a very young team. This was a very kind of ragtag team, kind of, I'm not going to say thrown together. This was they had a plan with this team. It was thought out, but this is a full rebuild. Or at least retooling, because I think we have solid players who fit our timeline of winning, right? 27 free agents, a little over $100 million in cap space, 10 draft picks. Pretty nice. I saw something earlier this week. It was talking about draft capital, and it had it kind of score for draft capital. Obviously, like, first round picks being more valuable than third, fourth round picks or whatever. But there's a way they kind of scored them together to figure out your overall kind of draft capital score. I think the Browns had number one, and maybe the Patriots had number two. The Raiders were ranked at number three because they had such high picks, and because they had so many picks, right? And my kind of process, this was while Tom Telesco was still GM, but my thought about that was, well, that's pretty good because we don't have a clear path to a quarterback, right? But it sets up a potential to trade ahead in the draft. And, you know, we could trade ahead, but also I kind of also said, also Tom Telesco doesn't really love to trade ahead. So unless they fall in love with a guy, unless they say Shadur Sanders, you are a Raider. Cam Ward, you are a Raider. I don't think that they wouldn't pull that trigger with Tom Telesco. Obviously, he's gone now, so things could change. They might get a little bit more aggressive, especially if they're going after an OC or a new head coach who would like a solid quarterback, not a guy like Aiden O'Connell. Shout out Aiden O'Connell, I love you. Um, and this is something really interesting here. So with Mike Vrabel, I talked about last video, one of his stipulations was I need a quarterback or a clear path to a quarterback. The Raiders don't have either of those. They have Aiden O'Connell, they have another number 6 pick, which is a quarterback, and you could get a quarterback with that pick, right? But it is not a clear path to a quarterback. It is not a quarterback who can win consistently, right? But this is Ben Johnson's two criterias for if he was to become a head coach, what he's looking at in an organization, in a franchise, if he wants to be a head coach. Number one, he'll want a team that'll create alignment between the head coach and the general manager. What does that sound like? That sounds like he wants a general manager in his image. He wants a general manager with the same image as him so that they can build this team from the ground up and construct it in their own image to win. Okay. Number two, he wants to work with for an owner who is willing to honestly identify the team's weakness and address them aggressively, like Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes did with the Lions in 2021, which I love that. I love that. I love that. What was I saying about defensive tackle? We have had a terrible, not terrible, okay. Shout out, what's his name? He went to the Cowboys. It's gonna come to me later. Jonathan Hankins. John Hankins. Yeah. This is super unprofessional. Let me look that up real quick. Shout out Jonathan Hankins, right? Yeah, there he is. Big boy, right up the middle. Okay. Run stopper. Love the guy. Okay. Not nothing to write home about, right? But what do we do last free agency? We got Christian Wilkins. We addressed that need, okay. And I'm not saying that, oh, then we should have kept Tom Telesco. But I agree with that. I agree with, you know, I think this is very good. I think Ben Johnson is the at least who I would want to be the head coach. My number one option, right? So hearing that he does not need a quarterback the first year is great because that we might not get a quarterback next year, like the quarterback, right? Um, and so all he's kind of asking is all I need is a general manager. Okay. All I need is a general manager and an owner who will work with me, who will be patient, and who is willing to address the needs of this team and work with me so that we can win. Right. And I think that's all you can ask for as a coach, right? Um, and I think that's as the Raiders, that would be our biggest selling point is, hey, we have lost for 20 years now. We've not been good for 20 years. But listen, this is your team. If you come here, if you coach this team, this is your team. I work for you essentially. I'm going to do what you need to win. All I want to do is win. You know how to win. I'm going to do whatever it takes to put you in a position of power, to put you in a place to succeed. So what that sounds like to me is people kind of made the jokes like, oh, they're kind of tidying up around the house for that little special guest, that little meeting with Ben Johnson, and that's what it is. It's going to be more attractive for a head coach to come in and be able to hire or work with a GM that was brought in with them, has the same idea of the kind of culture and the play style of the team. So I think it just sure was Tom Telesco a good GM, yes, but I think it makes it more attractive for a potential head coach, excuse me, to come in and kind of take over this team. Um, it says Tom Telesco. I thought this was really interesting, actually. Tom Telesco doesn't like to trade up in the draft. Mark Davis and Tom Brady want their guy, question mark, right? And that's true. That's true. There could have been conversations with, hey, Tom Telesco, we want to get the guy this draft. We want to set it up for success for the future. How do you feel about trading up? And he might have been like, I don't like it. I don't like to trade up. I don't like giving up draft capital. It's too big of a risk or whatever. And so, maybe they already knew that. Maybe they knew whoever this head coach is going to be is going to want to trade up, is going to want to be aggressive in the first year. And so they might have moved on to him. That might have played into it. It might not have. It might have just been, we want a new head coach. We want to, do a whole kind of deep clean and, reset. But I just thought that was interesting because that is a very, very good point to make where the number 6 pick is a good pick. You can get a very good player with that pick. You cannot get, I don't believe it will be enough to get the top 2 quarterbacks who, maybe they don't even pan out. There's a lot of questions about the draft class. I'm not going to talk about that right now. Okay. My final thought about that was Gruden inherited a Jack Del Rio team. Okay. McDaniels inherited a Gruden team. Okay. Pierce inherited a McDaniels team. Whoever is the next coach is going to inherit this Pierce team. Okay. And what do I mean that by that? I mean that, John Gruden, Josh McDaniels, Antonio Pierce, Jack Del Rio, all of these guys, but even before them, all of these guys have a certain way they want to play football. They have a certain image of what it means to be a Raider, what it means to be a winning football team, what it takes to be a winning football team. They have, an image of what a good quarterback is, what a good wide receiver is, what a good wide receiver two is, what a good running back is, what a good offensive line, a defense, all of these things, right? And they're going to mold this team in their image, and it goes with the GM too. But they're going to mold this team in this image, right? And whenever you have so much head coach turnover, right, it's like if you decorate your house, and then a couple months later you have to move out, but you have to leave all your stuff. You don't own any of this stuff, okay? And the next guy comes in and goes, well, I don't like that bookshelf, but it's gonna be a lot more expensive to buy a new bookshelf, so let me just move this bookshelf, or we'll wait, and then in a couple years we'll change it out or whatever. And then they change out that bookshelf in a couple months, he's got to move out, and the next guy comes in and goes, well, I don't like that bookshelf either. I need a new bookshelf. And then he gets his new bookshelf, and then, he's got to move on. This analogy is just going to say that all of these coaches have had basically less than, on like probably on average, 2 years to build their team and start winning. Okay. And I think the Gruden had the longest time to build this team, to build a team, and I think he obviously had the most success. Obviously, not he himself; it was Rich Bisaccia, but the team that he built, he and Mike Mayock did make the playoffs. And the only thing that goes to kind of show me is if you allow continuity in a team, if you allow a coach who you trust, okay, that's one very important thing, because I don't think Pierce. I think the big thing with Pierce was, okay, there's glaring problems from the start. We've got to reset. Okay. So I'm not even mad at that. But a coach you trust, give a coach you trust time and the resources to build the team in their image, and I believe it will lead to consistent winning football. Okay. And I said, whoever it may be, whoever takes over this team, please, please, please give them more than 2 years. I was watching a video by Sanji the other day, and he was saying, give them 3 years. I don't care if they go 0-17 in that 3 year span, each 3 years or whatever. Give them 3 years so we can at least say, okay, we gave this guy a chance. Because a lot of people are saying, Pierce didn't even have a chance. He had one off season, one season to turn this thing around, and it was kind of doomed from the start. My kind of whole little nugget on my cherry on top of this was constant turnover is destined to fail, and I believe that. I believe that constantly. You know, you constantly, you're at work and you constantly get a new boss, right? And they want to do something different than the old boss, right? It's going to be very frustrating. It's going to be very hard to adapt. And I think it's destined to fail. So please, if it's Ben Johnson, if it's what's his name, Liam Cohen, if it's Todd Monken, if it is me who takes over as a job for the head coach, please give me more than 2 years, at least 3 years to build in my image. In my case, if I'm head coach, I would actually instate like a kind of dictatorship within the Raiders organization, where I would never be able to be fired as head coach. I would actually also be the starting quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders. But that's just me, not saying that's going to be success. That's more so just kind of my dream of what I would do as head coach. Ben Johnson probably doesn't want to play quarterback for this team. Maybe he does. All right. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the whole thing. Here's to hoping they get this head coach search right. They've been very diligent in their work. They've been very they've kind of checked all their boxes. They've been very concise and thorough with this search, and I'm happy because I felt like AP was hired on the spot. I felt like Josh McDaniels, people say, he was kind of the front runner 90% of the way through the whole search. Gruden was basically given the job as soon as he was kind of interested in it. So I feel like this is the first time in a while we're going, hold up, let's make sure we get this right, and it's encouraging. Anyways, um, peace.